Hello and welcome everyone to this short orientation session on the basic plus advanced Selenium training. And we're going to be calling this as a crash course because what we intend to do is how quickly can we get you going from where you are currently to an advanced level within Selenium. So to do that, we're going to discuss a few topics. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use a Google document and start putting all the information that we want out here. At this point, I'm assuming that you all can hear me clearly and my audio is good and you can also see my screen. I am also recording this session, so for those of you who would love to go back and look at what has been done in this, you'll have access to it. And if you missed it, then you're watching this video right now. Great. So, team, what we're going to do today is we will start by conducting a short polls. The few questions that I would love to ask. Then we'll talk about the training itself. We will come to the fact of why do we need to learn Selenium and how do we need to learn rather master Selenium. And in this training, we will talk about the prerequisites. Then we will talk about the sure shot method to master Selenium. All right. So this I can in fact combine with the point number 4 here and put it out here. And then we will explore the schedule of the program itself. All right. So that's going to be what we will talk about, team. So without further delay, let me quickly launch a couple of poll questions first so that I get to know the audience feedback. I want you to interact back with me. That's the only way I am able to come back and customize this program for the larger set of audience members. So I want to start with the quick question, team, on why Selenium. So in a second, you'll see a poll coming up on your screen, and that poll basically is saying, why is it that you would love to learn Selenium? What is the driving force behind it? The reason I'm asking this question is because unless we know with a lot of clarity and certainty that here is the reason to learn it, we will not be able to do just in terms of executing it. So that clarity is very important. So please take a few seconds and fill it up. I've got about 41% votes in. I'm waiting for the others to also start voting in. This is a multiple choice question. You have an opportunity to choose more than one. So team, I've got 90% votes in and I'm going to close this poll right now, 93%, and share the results with you all. So here are the results, everyone. This is what the audience believes, the majority of audience. These polls not only help me understand what you believe, but it also gives you the ability to see what others are looking at. So I'm going to quickly hide the results in a second, but what you should note for sure is the fact that the number one reason why people are opting for Selenium are good jobs. So you all believe, like I do also, that there are many jobs available either locally or in a good distance from your place to travel and work, and those jobs really need you to have Selenium as a skill, and that's a very important thing. The second one is the pay is good, but what we're going to do as part of this training team is the fact that we will make sure how can you enjoy learning Selenium, because once you start liking it, it will really make you master things very well. So I've shared the results on the screen and I'll also put it into the Word document, into the Google Doc. That way we are able to look at this at a later point. So the poll question number 1, I'm going to quickly insert the image from the desktop. All right, team. So this Google Doc is also something that I'm going to share with you later, uh, either as a PDF through email or directly through Google. What we're going to do is, as we do the polls, as we do any kind of content development through this session, I want to be able to put it. The reason I'm doing this polls is very simple, team. It is for us as an overall audience to be able to understand what is it that we're trying to achieve and which direction should we be able to go. Towards the end of this, after I complete the presentation, I would love to take any questions that you have, please. Now, let's talk about what is your biggest challenge to learn Selenium. And I've just launched this poll, team. Again, it's got multiple questions to it, so please take a few seconds to answer. What is it that is making you step back a little or scare you from the fact that, hey, with so much of potential for jobs, with so much of potential for the pay and the fact that you may like it a lot, what is really stopping you? Got about 80% votes in, team. Few more seconds, then we'll get going into the next poll question. So the four options that I've given, as you see on the screen, are very simple. There's no time, you don't know programming or coding, you really don't know where to start and how to really get going, and you're new to IT is the last one. I'm in fact surprised at the poll answers so far, but I will share it with you. There was one more resource that is important, that is very critical for a lot of us, but I've not put it there. Also because it's expensive to learn Selenium. The reason is, be it $500 or $1,000 or be it $300, it's still money. But what I believe is that is an investment that we make towards your career. So really not a challenge because you know what the results will be after that. All right, great. So I've got about 83% votes in. I'm gonna now close the poll and share the results. So if you look at these results now, it tells you exactly that the number one reason is the fact that you do not have the programming or coding experience, and that is the challenge. And the fact that you don't know where to start. And those are the two things that we will do very well within ITE Learn to make sure that how easy is it going to be to learn the programming and the coding part, and how do we go in a very structured manner. How do we start? What do we do in the first week? What do we do in the second week? And so on. The other option that I saw is no time. Once you decide that this is the program to go for, that Selenium is going to change your career, then you will make that investment from your side. The last option that I gave is the fact that new to IT. And I think the only reason I didn't get too many options is most people are saying that I'm not having programming. I know for sure there's so many participants worldwide who have taken my training in the last few years, and they were never in the IT field, they were never in the software testing field itself, but have got a career start just because they could successfully complete a course, a programming oriented subject towards Selenium. All right, team. So I've got this. I'm going to put this as well back onto the Google Drive, into the Google Doc. Quickly insert it there, and then one more poll, and I want to be able to take forward with the topics that I've shown here. Okay, so that was the second poll. So last poll before we get into the other ones. This is again just wanted to feel what you have in your mind. Now let's talk about, do you need live project? This is a very simple question, team. It's a yes or no question. At the end of the day, we all go about learning a tool, learning a technology, hoping that we're going to get a job in that area. But once we do that, and then we get into the market and see that it is very, very competitive. There's so many people there. And the only thing that the interviewers will look is, do you have the hands on, real time project experience that is needed for the job? And that becomes the major decision factor. So this poll is just saying that, do you need live project? Some of you may not need live projects because you are already working and all you need to do is learn the tool. Some of you have not been working in Selenium, maybe some other job, maybe just manual testing or even a non-IT job. And that is fine. So I've got about 80% votes in team. I'm going to close this poll quickly and share the result. So like you see on the screen, it's again a 90% plus, which is saying that yes, we need live project experience. The reason I'm emphasizing on this team is, as part of this trainings that we conduct, we emphasize that, hey, let's learn everything like we do a course. So when we start these sessions, the first thing I do is I'm saying that let's start project one. And we talk about the fact that, assuming that you have just started or joined a new job, and here is your requirement to automate, how do we go about doing it? And then we will do about 3 to 4 projects like this, which will help you get trained, but also get you to know how projects are done in the training itself. Once the training gets completed, then we will get into the next phase where we actually do a live project. That we will talk about it after we're done with the training program. So that's the uh, last poll that I wanted to do before we get going with what we have for today. Do you need the live project experience? So team, there's fundamentally nothing big in terms of what we're trying to do here. About the training is very simple. Number one, we have, rather in this case, I have trained over 4,500 students only on Selenium so far. All right. It is very intense program, starts from basic level to help beginners and goes advanced to help you in your job. So we don't start it at a big level, we don't uh, leave it at the mid level. So we start at the very basic, we focus on the fundamentals significantly, because once you get the fundamentals into your system, it's going to be a cakewalk from there. How we start these sessions and how do we make sure that you are comfortable to be able to grasp and practice along with it is what will become important. We will do completely online. It's going to be live online. You also have the option of doing just a video based learning, but together is what we do. It is not going to be just live ever. It is going to be with videos. The reason is very simple. End to end, mastering Selenium will require about 50 to 70 hours of learning experience. And this does not include your practicals. This does not include what you will do as exercises and practicals. You will need additional 100 plus hours to practice. So what does that mean? It's about 170 hours is approximately equivalent to 1% month. What is a 1% month, team? If you work for 8 hours a day, and let's say you spend 21, 22 working hours in a month, it will take a total of 168 to 176 hours, and that's equivalent to 1%. Now, if you have that kind of a time, phenomenal. If you don't have that kind of a time, what do we do? And that is why we're talking about a crash course that will have enough to get you launched in the road of mastering Selenium. So this crash course team is very critical. While all this content is available, while have access, you will have access to more than 200 hours of videos just on Selenium, along with Java, JUnit, TestNG, on various aspects. You will still see that what is needed immediately to get started. How can we complete this in 15 to 20 days and get you ready to start taking interviews? Why is this important? It's very simple, team. There is a huge market, but at the same time, the competition out there is significantly high. So you will really need to start speeding up your execution. You really need to start taking actions today. Get that comfort feeling, start that passion, like what you're doing, and before you finish your 3 to 4 weeks, you want to be able to say that yes, now I'm ready to start my job, my interview. All right. So I will talk a little bit more about the training later, but it's very simple, team. I wanted to say about online Selenium training. This specific page kind of gives you the overview of what it is and what we're doing within IT Learn, right from what are going to be covered in the program, how we're going to go about completing the prerequisites and so on. I'm going to come to this. But let me quickly walk you what kind of content we have developed so far on the system. So let's go quickly to the online courses and focus our attention on the Selenium training videos. Out here, you will see the complete collection of the entire portfolio of training we have. While it says 40 plus hours of detailed high quality videos, it has got at least closer to 150 plus hours in terms of the content. There are two types of videos that you'll find, team. Chapter wise videos, which takes one chapter at a time and tries to explain the concepts, and we call them more like bite-sized videos. And then there are fast track videos. Fast track videos are exactly like similar to this crash course, which take 2 or 3 projects and go in a very quick fashion to be able to complete. So fast track videos is in the essence the same thing. In a 15-20 hours program, how can we learn all those critical things that will get you ready for the interview? When you go to the Selenium training videos, the main collection of all those recorded sessions which have the detailed topics, you will notice that Selenium is just not about IDE and simple WebDriver concepts and so on. It's got a lot of depth to it. Yes, we will start with IDE basics, but then you'll have to go into how to work with Eclipse, JUnit, and Selenium Server and so on. We have to get into the basics of core Java. And always remember this, team. There are 2 important things that you need to know. One, you're not going to learn Java like a developer needs to do, only from the perspective of automating, only from the perspective of doing execution through that. But secondly, when what I have seen as an experience is I have really helped people to make it easy for them to learn it. It's not going to be complicated. We're going to take it step by step, and you will see how easy is any kind of a programming language. But then we get into data driven frameworks, keyword driven frameworks. What is the WebDriver overview? How do you work with the keyword driven framework using WebDriver? And then it goes to the advanced topics like Ajax, dynamic pages, window alerts, pop-ups, and so on. Grid, TestNG, database testing, interview preparations, SVN, and Maven. So there are many topics. As part of your focus, you should first try and see how many on this left side can you quickly capture before you get to the interview. And once you get to the job, as your need arises, how do you pick up any advanced topics that are here and continue your learning? All right. So that's something that's fundamentally important for you to note, please, and make sure that you are able to put the effort to it. I would suggest, team, at least 2 to 3 hours of effort for the next 1 month, and you should be fine about it. All right. So you answered some of this in the poll, but why Selenium is very simple. We're talking about job trends. Let's go and actually see why the job trends are good. So if you go to any of your uh, job boards like dice.com or career builder, monster, indeed, and so on, you will see what kind of a jobs are there on the technology in your area. Let's say I say this is in New York. Okay, New York, New York. So I'm gonna say Selenium, New York, New York. I'm not putting a WebDriver or JUnit or Java with it because it will also start showing Java jobs. Now we're only talking about Selenium jobs. So currently there are about 96 positions that are active in just the New York City. And we've also put just a 30 miles radius around it. And you'll see that there have been posts being done every minute on it. So QA engineer with agile regression cross browser, senior quality assurance, senior QA engineer, WebDriver Java, all of these are direct Selenium automation positions. If you have the right skill, all right, with the right skill, resume, and marketing of it, you will find your dream job. There's no question about it. You got to make sure that you learn everything correctly, you put it into the practice, and then you'll be able to really get the dream job that you've been looking at. Now, the next thing, team, is it is very interesting, team, very interesting, and may keep you up for long hours to play around with. So once you start, there's always a starting problem we all have. How do we start? Where do we start? But once we start, it becomes interesting and it gets you engrossed into it that you may stay awake in the night just to see, hey, I don't want to sleep without finishing this one. What will happen next? What will happen next? That kind of an enthusiasm and a kind of a unique situation where you're very eager to know what's going to come keeps developing with you. Right. So this is one way for you to go and see what kind of a jobs are there around your area. So let's say you're someone in San Francisco. Okay, San Francisco, California, and find tech jobs. So the same skill, I'm just trying to see now what kind of positions we have around that. And then you can also compare it with how the other programs are doing. The one website that I'm not sure how many of you are aware to go and see is indeed.com with along with the job trends. So I'm going to quickly show that. I actually wanted to go to indeed.com job trends. So let's go to this direct link. This is the indeed.com/job. You take any skill and put it up here. You're going to see what kind of an impact it will going to have. So for example, if I do, let's say HPQTP, I just do QTP and say find the trends. We're not trying to find the jobs, but over a period of few years, how is the market for it? How many jobs have been put? So if you notice from early 2005, it's been climbing up. There's been a little fluctuation. It's been slowly dropping and picking up again. But team, don't get fooled. This drop of QTP is not just because of the fact that QTP has gone down, but a little bit, yes, other tools have taken over, but they've also renamed it to UFT. So once they've renamed it to UFT, that trend has started growing up from a different level on that area, team. Just a quick audio check. Can you all hear me okay? Are you all able to see my screen, team? You can't see my full screen? That's interesting. Can't you see my browser? Seeing zoomed screen. How about now, everyone? All right, great. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. So now I'm not sure how much of the content got missed out, but primarily we do have the video also. Hopefully, it should take it. So I showed QTP, I showed UFT as a trend. This is the new name that HP has given for QTP, and this is what it is. Now let's talk about what's our interesting area, which is Selenium, everyone. Okay, in Selenium, let's see what the job trends are. So if you notice, it started somewhere towards early 2007, 2008. That's when it started coming into the market. It's had a significant raise since then. It didn't really ever slip down too much, just a little dip towards mid of 2013. But in the last previous few months, if you see, the growth has been exponential. It has gone beyond the uh, it's gone beyond its growth ever. It had a growth like this so far, but now it has like almost a vertical growth. So all of a sudden there is a huge demand in the market, and this basically tells that if there is one thing that you want to learn in the field of software testing that will really help you get a job, that's going to be Selenium right now. And you can also do a relative scale with along with any other keywords, and you'll see how these job things shape up. Job market competition. So not competition, we're looking at job trends itself. I wanted to show you how you can compare two or more skills together. That's fine, but primarily, as I said, you will see that the growth for Selenium has been significant over the past few months. The trend is going in the higher direction, and what we all need to know is what the trend is and how do we go about getting to it. So these are the two reasons, team. One, job trends. Second, interesting. Third, it is not that complicated or tough to learn Selenium. Okay. Now, before I get into the fact of how to learn and master Selenium, the sure shot method to master Selenium, let me talk about the basic learning curves that we all have, team. We first see and observe something, and that kind of generates our interest. Then we kind of get to be able to get a slightly deeper understanding on it, and then we play around it a little. Then we kind of experiment more, fail more, but each time get better. And then you repeat the C and D till you master the whole learning. Now, this can apply to anything, team, be it swimming, be it cycling, be it reading, or enrolling yourself into an MBA, or even learning things like Selenium and so on. So, the reason I say this is very simple. If I start with a Java coding, for example, okay, it's not the Java coding stuff. The first time when I write a Java code or a JUnit code, you'll think, what is this code? Why is it like this? I don't even understand the ABCs of the first line itself. But then I say, just casually see and observe the whole thing. Do not try and force yourself to master anything at this point. But once you observe and try and understand that, oh, this is what it is. Your second step is to be able to read the code just to understand. Oh, okay, now I know this is what this is what this is, and so on. Why is there a if loop, if statement here? Why is there a for loop there? What variable is here, and so on. After that, the next level is to make small changes, just modifications to existing code and see if it works. Finally, you'll be able to start writing your own code. But to do this, you have to go in the route of learning team. That is the typical learning cycle that we all go through. Okay. If you start to write the code at the very beginning, instead of observing, trying to read what the code is, and making sure you can make subtle changes, then you put a very big task in front of you, and it will have an impact that you may fail more and you may get demotivated. So do not do that. So the way it has to be done is very simple, team. You have a phase one of learning is uh, attend live or watch a pre-recorded fast track like a movie. I don't want you to imagine that, hey, I have to take notes now. He's teaching, I have to practice on the other system at the same time. Don't do that. That is what you're trying to do is out here, but you got to start somewhere out here. I want you to just see and observe what I'm doing. It will give you a perspective to understand what is what. You will not have hands on experience by then. All right? You will not have hands on experience by then. Phase two learning, repeat another fast track and this time practice on it. So the phase one learning is, let's say, a 3 weeks program. So I will be doing 1 hour live webinar every day, but let's say you have another 2 hours to spend. I just want you to repeat the same video, take notes and do little practice. Don't focus too much on the practice initially. Why? Because you may get stuck with Eclipse is not installing, this Java code is not working, that Java code is not working. Rather than trying to complete the training and get that first idea of seeing and observing and get a slightly deeper understanding, you're trying to play around a lot and there you may fail. Definitely practice, but your first focus is to make sure that you see what I'm saying and learn it. After that, you can take any other fast track. It's about 20 hours effort, and this time practice. And that will be another 2 weeks at least of effort, and that will get you going big way. If you're able to spend about 3 to 4 hours, all of these things you can do it within 30 days very easily. Within the first 15 days, you'll be able to understand what is what. Then you repeat it with a different tray program, and then you'll see it really works out well. So, for example, here, when I go back to the main page where we're talking the fast track, let's say from 2012, all the batches we have kept here, but I'm not really keeping many other batches that we've done previous to this. Now, let's say the recent one, Jan 12th, 2015 batch. This, I believe, had a lot of content, almost 32 sessions that I did because we went in a very slow and gradual manner. We wanted to do a very slow program, but it took a long time to complete all of this. You take any of these free videos or project 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 projects we did in this team. Take any one project and just watch it as videos, as a movie. Take notes, get an understanding. Don't try and pause, don't try and rewind and repeat so much. Just try and complete it like a movie because the story will become clear as you keep going from one project to the other. All right. I want you to really be able to understand the fact that there's so many things that get into it that you start a project, complete a project, take another project and start practicing from there. If we start in the route of trying to master everything from day one, it will become a challenge. Just watch them like videos. For all your premium members, once you log in through your members login portal, you should be able to see how these videos are accessible and how you can start learning from them. All right, this is one of those fast tracks that we have. But if you continue to look, it will keep going into the various directions and trying to get your understanding in a big way on a lot of these platform areas. Now, that is the typical way or methodology of learning that I would suggest. From a prerequisite standpoint, like I mentioned in the itlearn.com/online Selenium training link, you'll see that what we would love to see you go through for sure is Selenium IDE basics and automation basics. This is very important. Once you get these basics and fundamentals, then making sure that we go through the others will become easy. The first 5 topics will easily get covered in the initial few videos from the Selenium Fast Track file, the same page that I showed you. There is no coding level I'm saying here. The basics of code Java may help. How do you take a IDE script and put it into WebDriver is what I want you to watch. This will help us to start directly from Eclipse, get your codes into WebDriver, your Selenium WebDriver code into along with in JUnit format, and start making sure that we are understanding how to master Selenium and take it advanced from there. If you don't go through these basic prerequisites that I'm saying, you'll still be okay, but you'll not be as comfortable as others. So please make sure that you go through these prerequisites, and then we will get into the training from there. All right. So that was about the prerequisites. I have put that. Let me put that link here so that you can capture it. But unfortunately, only team, if you're a premium member, will you be able to get access to the prerequisite contents and get going. There are a lot of free videos already available from IT Learn, and these are the IDE basic and automation basic fundamentals videos. The schedule of the program team, we will be starting the day 1, day 2 next week. We will set forth our speed. Then I may be having a short travel back to the US either towards end of next week or early the week after. And we will complete about 5-6 sessions before that. And then what we're going to do is, so we're talking about here first, second, I believe first and second on day 1 and day 2. I will have my team come back and email you the exact schedule, but I'm just kind of looking at. Tentatively, I believe we're trying to get this completed before the 26th of June. I believe that can be done. We will have almost 1 week of buffer in between, and about 12 to 15 sessions we're going to be able to complete. Now, in this meanwhile, you should be able to spend 1 hour each day on the live webinar that we do, and about 1 hour each day at least if you are able to go back and review and practice to a certain extent on what we do. And then if you can spend more hours, then you can really get into practicing at a very deep level team. So that's the overall overview that I wanted to share with you all. I am now open for any questions that the team has, and I would love to start answering them. So please go ahead, take a minute, let me know what your questions are, and I'll be glad to answer them. So the pricing for the training, Uday, is there on the website. It's very simple way that we have placed it. So if you go to the pricing page on itelearn.com, you will note. Let me share the screen. So if you go to the pricing page on itelearn.com, you will see on the top, you'll see the Selenium program and the different levels to it. The basic level is the videos. You can upgrade to attend the live webinars, and that's a $500 package. Access to the videos for 1 year, and this live webinar is $500. Once you've completed the training, only then can you attend a live project, and that will be an additional $125. But the good thing is when you add them to the cart, automatically the discounts that get plugged in when you go over 500 and when you go over 1000. So these are the things. For anything specific to your country of residence and how you can pay from there, please send an email to learn at IT Learn team, and the team and my team will be able to help you out there. I'm not a premium member. How many free demos can I attend? Shravan, I'm not sure. Probably about two sessions or so. In fact, you don't even have to wait for the sessions to start. Go directly to the link that I've shown here. Even if you're not a premium member, you'll see there are a lot of free videos already available that you can go through. So the day 1 and day 2, the free orientation session are here. These are available for you to watch. And in fact, from here onwards, the sessions are paid. If you go to the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/qtplearn, because that's the channel name we opened the whole thing with, you will see many videos regarding Selenium. So in fact, if you say Selenium tutorials on anything, let's say IDE, you would notice that somewhere on the top you'll see the content from Karthik Keeler. You'll see how some playlists from my side as well, and all the content. So you can pick up any of these videos or go through the channel itself and browse the videos. There's a lot of content there for you. Okay, let's see what else. So do we need to work on the prerequisites before our first day? Yes, that's correct. So it is mandatory for you to start working, and that's why we've been sending emails saying that please watch these videos so that you're comfortable on the day 1. While it may not be that easy on day 1, so what I'll be doing is the day 1 to day 2 is typically a The first project is like a 5-6 session project. I'm gonna quickly crush what's that uh, shorten that whole thing and squeeze the entire thing into a couple of days of session. So all the prerequisites that you've seen, I will do a quick review of it, but I'll not go deep into it, team. Is WebDriver alone enough nowadays? Many also want Python as well. I am not how no I am not know how those two are related. Okay, so those two are not related, Kong. It's very simple that sorry guys. Oops, I think a lot of recover files have come up. Okay, so basically very simple, team, that you need to understand is there's something called as an IDE, and what Selenium IDE does is that sorry, one second, team. Okay, this is Selenium IDE, team. It is a Firefox plugin, and from there we are able to run steps that will run directly on the browser. So let's assume this is the browser that we have. These instructions happen. It's a kind of a table format where you put information and all that, but it's got a lot of limitations when you want to do advanced automation, where you want to put logics, where you want to put frameworks, where you want to be able to loop through things. It does fail to give you all the potential from the Selenium IDE perspective. But once we get to Selenium WebDriver, what it does is Selenium WebDriver is like a tool in between. It's like let me write it here. A plugin which helps to pass the instructions to browser and say what will happen. So it basically drives the web. Now, the instructions can be given in anything: Java, JUnit, TestNG, C Sharp, Python, and so on. So many other languages that you can go about giving your instructions. Now, the programming that is used to give the instructions is one. Selenium WebDriver is like the middle party, which is understanding the code that we write in each of these technologies and translate it so that the browser can understand what to do on it. For example, how to click a link, how to select an item from a drop down list, or how to put a value in a field. These instructions your Selenium WebDriver helps to give. So once we start coding, irrespective of what technology, Java, C Sharp, Python, and so on, you will be able to give those instructions in that local language, and WebDriver will convert. That is why when we download something called as jar files, one jar file will download is Selenium server. The next one is the WebDriver specifically for Java, or WebDriver specifically for C Sharp or for Python. It is a small interface in between which will help the browser to understand what instructions are being passed coming from any technology. So the tool is going to be WebDriver, but the technology can be Java, Python, or anything. So once you learn one technology, learning the other is not going to be that tough for anyone. So Python is popular, but this specific session we will do it through Java. I have made a few videos on Python, not many. You can watch them again on the ITLN website, and that will give you some kind of a comfort level. So go back to ITLN website, online courses, and just scroll down. You will see computer programming with Python. This will give you some fundamental idea. There are a few videos that are available there. Let's see. Chandra, hi guys, this is Mohan. Whether we have to use the same WebDriver webinar invite, which I've got to attend this session. Yes. So every session you use the same webinar invite to be able to attend going forward. Uh, After I believe day 2, the cancellations will start happening. So you won't be able to attend day 3 in case you're not yet become premium member. But then do consult with my team over online chat or emails, phones, and they will help you out with whatever you need. I am premium member. How much extra will it cost when you will start? When will you start? Kong, I don't know what course or what subscription you've taken. So please send an email, and that's how the team can come back and say, yes, this is good. Will you be teaching Java basics before you start Selenium? I won't get into the details of core Java basics teams. That's why I want you to learn it from a few videos that I'm showing you. That way, it will make it easy. Of course, we will go through the Java basics. I will cover it once again as I keep doing the project, but it always helps you to come with certain skill and knowledge before starting the session. That should give you a better chance to master it, because first time when you see, you may not really get it. Second time when you see, you may get it. That's why I'm saying get the prerequisites first time. When I show it to the second time when we start, it'll become easy for you. I'm a premium member, purchase the video, so in case I want to attend. So Purandar, that was your answer. I want to. This is Devaki, your question. So in case I want to attend this course, is that fine to pay the remaining amount? I don't know, Devaki. Same question. I have no idea about who is who and what they've done. There's so many participants in this session right now. Please send the email to the team, and the team will definitely come back to you. Okay. Does it matter which language we use? Are all APIs available in all languages? So there are a few sets of languages that we will see what are available in the listed set of languages that you can take for your WebDriver. It doesn't matter which language team. The typical what happens is, let's say there's a company which has been working on Java. The platforms are on Java and so on. They may prefer to do Selenium along with Java. But let's say there's a Microsoft C Sharp shop, and they use as technology as Microsoft technologies or C Sharp. Then they may use C Sharp along with the Selenium to automate the test. Same with Python. So the core base technology, what they have, they will try and go in that direction. The companies, okay, because they already have skill in that. Karthik, what is Selenium RC and Grid? Are you going to cover these two? Selenium RC is a little more an earlier version, which is called the Selenium Remote Control. We had to literally go and launch a server from our local machine and then have the instructions passed through the Selenium Remote Control onto the browser. Just like what I was showing right now, team. Where is that image? Just like you're showing out here, instead of WebDriver, it was earlier RC, and there are videos on it. It is no longer in use technology in a very significant manner, because WebDriver takes care of the challenge, and to don't have to run a server or initiate a server start at the beginning. It automatically goes through everything. It makes things much more simpler for automation testers. Selenium Grid is different. It is basically trying to take your entire test and run it on a grid of network. You'll have multiple machines sitting in an office. One is a Mac, one is um, Windows, different versions of the browsers, and you want to be able to run tests on the entire grid. Grid is like a network. So how do you run your tests on different machines, not just on one machine? Uh, that is what Grid will help. I am not going to be covering Grid within the training live webinars, but we have already done this and kept them as videos. It is easy for you to access and get going from that. Let's see, what other questions can I quickly accept before we come towards the end. Is the 26th July Hyderabad class enough to meet the prerequisites? I believe so. Anyone is fine, team. Take any of those fast tracks that you see, and you should be comfortable from there. Because there's so many of them here, I don't want you to get confused which one. Take anyone. Just pick one, stick with that, keep going. Don't stop and try and push yourself harder to learn anything. I just want you to go through them like movies. Just watch them end to end. Don't try and stop and see what is happening now. How do I do that and so on. Just continue it. Don't stop, because I keep repeating the foundation level concepts over and over again. The second time when I tell that, the third time when I tell that, and I keep repeating them, it'll become easy for you then. The biggest challenge, team, that you will face is if anywhere in between you're stuck and you try and drop out. Do not drop out when you see that there's a challenge that's coming. Just try and go through it with ease. Don't be emotional about it. Don't get disheartened with any small things, and keep going. Once we get to live projects, you'll notice how we kind of set you up in groups of teams, so that you can all study together and work together, and that will really help you, team. Okay. So that's that. I believe I have last two more questions before I can come to the end. Every job looks for 5 to 6 years experience. How can we get that job? Will only take by only taking course. Yes. So Julie, the way we're gonna do it is this. Number one, you can't get 5 to 6 years experience in 2 months or 3 months. It will take you 5 to 6 years because that's a time. But the worth of your knowledge on Selenium compared to someone who's got 5 to 6 years experience is what we're trying to bridge. That gap. What you know, what level you know, and how you can still show certain amount of experience. You definitely have a disadvantage that you don't have so many years of experience in that specific field, but with the right learning, with the right focus, you will be able to build a skill which is competitive and which will really help you get there. And when you do the live projects, you will see how you could build on this. I have very recently done a free webinar team. I keep conducting a lot of these free events, and if you're part of the subscription, you'll see this. That free event was need project experience on your resume. This is a small webinar that I did. Is if I don't have a specific project experience on resume, be it on a specific technology or tool and so on, how can I still get it and put it on my resume without having to fake anything in there? In a very genuine manner, what can I do without the right project experience and still be able to make a very powerful resume? So please use this specific one. Just go under events, look for uh, need project experience on your resume webinar, and you will be able to watch that video. All right. Well, great. Fundamentally, I think we've come towards the end. Let's see. If I take prerequisite, then do I have to take the advanced course? See, prerequisites is just a beginner level. The advanced is basically how do we take it, learn code Java a little bit more, understand WebDriver very well, understand how we can write simple frameworks like data driven and so on, and then how do we get to a little bit more advanced. So even if we complete till data driven frameworks in your first phase of learning, that is good enough. You don't have to learn keyword driven, hybrid, grid, and Maven, everything in your first phase of learning. Push that to the next phase, at least till the end of data driven, because most of the concepts will get covered. And from there on, it is advanced and it becomes something that you want to spend more quality time on. Will your team be sharing the schedule before starting the day one session? Yes, they will. It will come up as part of the go to webinar. Typically, the timing is going to be around this time, I believe, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific. They will share with you. J, can we manipulate browser properties like installing certificate, changing browser options, etc.? Yes, absolutely. Again, this session we're not getting to the technical depth because it's just an orientation and helping you get started. But there are many things that you can control. The only limitation of Selenium is the limitation of Java in this case. The Selenium WebDriver will help Java interact with the browser, no question about it. But the limitations to what it can do is the limitations of Java as a programming language. And once you know that Java is a very, very powerful programming language, you can do miracles in terms of what can be achieved as the level of automation. All right, everyone. So that's it for today's session. I really appreciate your time and joining in. And I also appreciate that you've taken the polls and so on. I did have one more final poll, but then I've covered that through how is the job trend on Selenium today. We've seen the job trends, you see how it's growing, and I will see you back early next week. We will come back to you with an email on how we can take it forward. Thank you all. Thank you so much for attending. Take care. Bye now. Have a great weekend.